Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So for today's topic is going to be about from student to leaders. So you must be wondering, what do you mean by student to leaders? Are we talking about leaders as in CEOs or politicians or any sort of high ranking? Well, nothing of that sort. I'm going to emphasize more of a student turning to become a leader in a daily situation. Like even when you are in class, you are a leader. When you are in university or in school, you are a leader. You can be a leader in a group, you can be a leader just in being a top student in the university or the school. Basically, that's what I'm going to emphasize more on. Okay, so when we talk about being a student means you are just a regular student. Everybody pays to go to school or go to university. It depends on each student how they want to be, right? And then how they are, what differentiates is this. Okay, when you are a student, you can be, and you are just a regular person, right? Whereas for a leader, which is so-called top student of the school or university, is they have put 1,000% in their studies to earn to become the top student. So a leader in the university means they have the potential to have to gain a scholarship from universities or any sort of private institutions or the government institutions, right? So becoming a leader is not an easy thing. What I have gone through is definitely not what do you call it? Like, it's a very long process, right? It takes a lot of dedication and hard work to get the scholarship that you want, to become a leader in any group or any society, or basically be a top student as well, right? Okay. So, like, for me, I have noticed this about many students. They all say, like, oh, it must be so nice, right, to have a scholarship or to even be a top student in the university. This is the thing, like, I don't go around telling like any of my classmates, they don't actually know that I'm a top student until I upload this video or anybody shares. And then probably if everybody knows, uh probably that's the time everybody would know that Aruni is a top student in the university right now. But if any of my ex schoolmates or ex university classmates, they look at this video, they are going to think like, Aruni being a top student, like she used to be like a sore loser. She used to fail in so many things, right? Not good in extracurricular, not good in sports, not good in studies. But look at where I am right now. It is a whole different level. So, what makes it like for me to become this? For me to become a leader, from where did I start to take charge of group assignments or any sort of ways to give my friends advice is through my experience of the past experience that I had being a student. So from that, it made me to change myself to become a very strong, motivating person. And that's when I motivate my friends to become the person that they want. If they want to become like me, they have to go through the difficult ways. It's not going to be easy. A lot of people nowadays things like, oh, okay, because there's so many things online and there's so many things that we can refer to. Everything is very easy, right? For us, everything is just on the tip of our fingers. The minute we just click on anything online, we can just find the details that we want. But it's not that easy as you think it is. It's how you put that thing into practice. Whatever information that you get and how you put it into practice is what's important at the end of the day. So, like for me, I have the motivation. When I first joined Segi, right? When I first joined the university, I told myself, Aruni, you know what? You gotta be in charge. If let's say somebody is not gonna be in charge, even I used to hesitate when I first joined to when I first started my classes in Sergi. When I was doing my foundation time, I was so hesitant in the beginning to even become a group leader. And I was thinking to myself, how am I going to motivate others? How am I going to deal with others? How am I going to basically make a team? You know? So, what I realized was that first I have to be me. First I have to fix myself. I have to fix the inner self of mine. From there, I'll be able to guide people. So, when I first started a group assignment, like when my lecturer says, okay, we're going to start with group assignment, at the beginning I was like, okay, nobody wants to become a group leader. Even I used to be like, okay, I used to text my group mates and I'd be like, okay, who wants to do what? That's when I actually like felt like I was a leader, when I first started initiating and asking my group mates who wants to do what are the topics and this and that, I was like, okay, you know what, this sounds like a leader, right? Okay, you know what, I'm just gonna continue doing it, because nobody in the group wanted to even start the conversation at first, or even like to come up with a topic or even ideas, or to even give feedbacks, like get feedbacks from the lecturers, ask questions from the lecturers. So everybody is like so hesitant to do that. So someone has to step up in the group and start to take charge. So that's when I decided to, you know what, if nobody's gonna do it, I have to do it. If not, we're gonna all fail together, right? That they can't be all submissive people in the groups, or cannot be everybody leaders in the groups. Every group needs to have a leader. So when I took the leadership role in the group, is when I realized I have leadership qualities. That's when I realized I can guide, I can motivate. And when I motivate my classmates or my group mates in general, I am super fierce, right? Okay, believe it or not, nobody can even stand me sometimes. I've like received complaints from my classmates. Sometimes they'll be like, Aruni, you pressure us too much. We need some lenience. We need some time for ourselves. We need to go out with our friends. We need to do this. We need to do that. And I used to be like, what are you even talking about? What do you mean lenience? Like, what do you mean like I'm being too strict? I don't get it, because for me is I'm a very motivating person. If I can motivate myself, if I can find balance for so many things to deal with, I'm not just, if you're thinking, oh, she has scholarship and she's just a very top student just due to her studies, right? It's wrong. You're wrong, okay? I am not just good in my studies, I'm also a leader in societies. I have become the heads of groups. I have participated in so many things throughout university, okay? I am not just a one-sided person who is going just one path alone. I am going so many paths, so many directions I'm going through. And not only university I have, not only clubs I join, I also have to deal with my parents. I also have to deal with work. I have to deal with 1,000 things going around me. But where do I even find time? Like I always say in my other videos, if you watched it, you will realize that for me, finding a balance is very important. As a student, I found balance, and that's when it makes me very easy to become a top student. It's not difficult at all. Getting a scholarship, a lot of them think like, okay, you know what? It's very difficult to get a scholarship. It's like a very difficult path to go through. You have to go through so many levels to become a scholarship student. You're wrong. if you put in the dedication, you join societies, you have extracurricular activities that you participate in, you know how to balance everything, not just in uni but also your personal life or your private life. I am telling you one thing, you will do wonders. Okay, it's never impossible for somebody to actually achieve what they want to achieve in life. It's all up to you how far you take it to and how you can maintain that graph of it. Like for me, my graph used to be like this, okay, but what happened was is, like, because of unsolved issues, okay, due to family issues, family emergencies that I have to deal with, unfortunately I was able to keep the scholarship. But of course there were some drops here and there, which I do take accountability to. You know, you as a student, right, you have to be accountable. You need to take up the responsibility to understand. If you do something, you have to own up for it. You have to own up for your mistakes. If you do not own up for your mistakes, and you're gonna take everything so lenient around you and be like, okay, you know what, I am just gonna chill, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. I'm like, you're gonna pick and choose everything, right? It's going to be very difficult for you. Being a scholarship student, you cannot pick and choose. You have to do everything wholeheartedly. You have to be a really responsible student. You need to be a group leader. You need to have so many qualities of what a leader has, a leadership qualities. It's very important for you to have it. If you don't have, I'm sorry, but there's no other ways. You know, even if now let's say like I'm working, right? If you are not accountable for your own work, now our bosses, our seniors would say, okay, you know what, we give you make the decision. Okay, I'll make the decision. If something screws up, what should you first do? Rectify the mistake, apologize to your senior. That's always do not point, like, say like, okay, you know what, I didn't do it, even though you are the one who made the mistake, and you point fingers at others. It's not going to work that way. If you did the mistake, you own up for it. Don't point fingers at others unless that mistake was actually done by that person. This is the thing about me, right? I do not point fingers at others unless they are the one who did it, and I want them to realize that they did the mistake, and if they're not being accountable, I'm gonna point it out and say, you are wrong, you did this, and you need to rectify that mistake on the spot. Do not wait until I do it. Because this is the thing, right, about this generation nowadays, and even the younger generation, right? I have noticed this a lot. You tend to take things very lightly, and you think that everybody around you, like the world revolves around you, and you are like the special glowing person there, and you feel like they own an explanation for you. That's when you cannot actually move on in life in the right direction. If you're gonna feel like everybody owns an explanation towards you, if you owe an explanation to them, you have to give them an explanation. Do not just go about saying like, you know what, I'm so sorry about this, but why are you being sorry? Justify. A lot of people say, like our seniors, right, they have no time to if you are at work, they don't have the time to listen to you justifying their problems, because they have tons of other work to do other than just listening to your justification. But this is the thing, being a leader is one thing, and listening to the justification given by your juniors is another. Like for me, being a leader, when I used to do my group assignments, or when I am like even right now, I am a head of the society, right? So what I do is, when any of my juniors they make a mistake, always ask them, why? Why do you do this? Though I have a bunch of other things to do, I always ask them, why? Why do you do this? Why do you even have to make this mistake? I want to know your reasons. If I can sound you cooking up some nonsense at the back, then I know you're lying, right? For me, I catch lies so far that nobody can lie to my face. Like, even though how much of poker face you can make, I can still tell that you're lying, okay? So you need to know, being surrounded with people, you need to know the nature of each individual. That's when you know their weaknesses, you know their strengths, you know where to pick up, where you know where to point, you know where to ask them to rectify, you know where to tell them to, oh, okay, you did a good job, to acknowledge them. There are so many ways in order to get to know that person, and obviously take good things take time. Even same goes for bad things take time, right? Bad things influence us so fast, good things always influence us very slow. Especially with the generation nowadays, so many of y'all or us feel like, you know what, there's nothing bad influencing me, I am just gonna go about it, like, I like this process. But you do not realize until you fall into a huge trap. That's when you feel like, what did I do? I did a huge blunder that I can't even cover up with. That's why I always say it's not easy being a leader. It's not easy being, it's very easy. Like, so many of us right nowadays want to always become the subordinate of another person. Nobody wants to take up leadership qualities and be accountable for their mistakes, because they know one thing is, if something goes wrong, the lecturer is going to hunt the team leader. The lecturer is not going to hunt the subordinates. They're going to hunt the leader first, because the leader is the one who's submitting the assignment. The leader is the one who is basically doing, like, giving orders to the next, to the subordinates. The leader is the one basically giving instructions, giving orders, giving instructions to whoever below them, and if they are not being accountable, what do we even expect out of the subordinates, right? Being honest is another thing. I expect honesty. Everybody nowadays, they think being honest is like a weakness, but that's where you're wrong, because being honest, right, doesn't mean that it can be an advantage to another person. Because when you are an honest person, it helps you to move to the next. If you're good with playing chess, right, if you can't play the chess properly, you're going to be removed out of the chessboard. So, or you be removed from the team. You basically, you let the other opponent to win because of you being a loser at the end of the day. Why do I use the word loser or bumps a lot, or deadbeat, like, sorry, loser, deadbeats a lot, is because nowadays most of y'all are like that. Like, I don't understand, right? Why do this generation, or the younger generation, wants to become a sore loser? We have an incredible society. We have an incredible life. We are living with amazing technologies. And everything is to our convenience. Yet, nobody can even become the next leader, nor can be accountable for anything that you do. They can't be responsible. They are not honest. They are not good in anything. I don't understand why. Like, if somebody can even give me an explanation to that in the comments, I would definitely read it and give you, like, and I would give you a solution to the problem, okay? Like, there are so many things that we can actually resolve, we feel like just because we are going through so much of mental health issues, or we are going through so much of challenges in our life, we feel like, oh, I just can't deal with this anymore. Even sometimes, as me as a person, though how much I can give you advice, even I sometimes feel like, why do I even have to deal with this? I can't deal with that person at all. Like, this is the thing, right? For me, I feel so motivated to a very high extent level. But unfortunately, the people that I work with around me are so demotivated, and even they are so disencouraging to an extent where it drives me crazy and I become insane because of them. Unfortunately, I get so pissed off because of how they are, the way they behave, the way they present themselves. Nowadays, nobody want to present themselves well. This is being a leader, right? It's just not about having leadership qualities inside of you. You also need to present yourself well. If you do not just come to the front and you're not dressed properly, you come as you want, you come as you like, just because of how you feel, how you want. I'm telling you, I'm sorry to tell you this, but there's no future for you, honestly speaking, right? If you go like that, you dress yourself up and you present yourself well, is when people want to see you. People want to hear what you're presenting. People want to see how you move, how you walk with, how you want to show yourself. That's when people will be impressed, because first impressions are very, very crucial to everybody. But unfortunately, the younger generations, or even I would say the people who are around my age group, right? A lot of them lack these qualities. They lack this they lack having the good presentation self inside them. Like, do you know one thing? When I go for presentations, I'm sorry to tell you this, right? When I do presentations or when I go to work, I dress myself really well. Like, what I'm trying to tell you is not dress as in like, okay, very fancy, wear very expensive stuff, designer clothing, designer bags, nothing of that sort. Just be a simple person where you dress something comfortable, you dress something suitable for the job, right? You have, like, if let's say you're having a presentation and today you have to do a presentation at work or in class, what do? Make sure that you tidy yourself up, make sure that you dress nice, so that people want to listen to you, people want to look at you. Because now for me, when I want to look, when there's a person presenting in front of me, I always look at them from head to toe. I do not just look at the way they're talking and look at the screen. This is why many people fall asleep and they zone out during presentations and they do not listen carefully, is because the person who is presenting themselves itself is not even good. They are just, okay, though they can be so good in presenting their points, it's useless if you do not dress yourself well. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, why I'm touching on different qualities of being a leader from, this is what differentiates you from being a student to a leader, right? A student, they'll dress anything they want. But if you want to become a leader, you want to become the next leader, future leader of the country, you want to become the next future of your business, leader of your business, you want to become a CEO, you want to become a politician, you want to become any sort of leader in any field of any course, you need to step up your game, right? So it's very important, it's very crucial, okay, You have to make it a necessity of yours. Learn from young to always present yourself well. That's when people will want to look at what you're presenting as well, because they know if you look good, your slides, your presentation will be organized as well. If you look like a mess, your presentation is a mess. That's for sure. I mean, I have seen personally myself, like so many of my classmates, right? The way they dress is just like their presentation. It's a mess. When they dress nicely, it will reflect on their presentation as well, because it shows the kind of person that you are. It's very, very important that we feel like, oh, I don't care what people are going to say about me. I don't care whether they judge me or not. So basically, what you're trying to say is you don't care what your end results is going to be. You don't care how your grades are going to reflect on you at the end of the day. That's when you're wrong. Because you care about your results to an extent. When you want it to happen, you make it happen. If you don't want it to happen, you don't make the things happen. So what makes you different is all these qualities. You need to learn. When you start from a very young age, when you grow older and older and older, your personality will continue to be the same, because you are always like that. You put into practice already. So it become a daily nature of yours, daily habit to become like that. Because if you don't put it into a daily routine, daily habit, it's not going to happen. Okay? Being a scholarship student, I'm giving you an advice, though it sounds bitter, it is the truth. The truth is always bitter. The lies are always very sweet. Many people lie is because they want the other person to hear it as if they're listening to a melody, or they're listening to a sweet voice. But that's not the real world. They do not understand. Nobody in this young generation, or this generation, my generation, nobody realizes until when they set foot to the real world, and your seniors who are much older than you yells at you at work, and they are like, you have to get this thing done. If you do not meet the deadline, if you do not present yourself well, you are like unorganized person. I'm sorry, they're not going to tolerate this. You cannot live in a company, you cannot stay in a company for too long if you do not put into practice when you're in university or when you're in school. When you have this practice continuously going on for many years, I'm telling you this, when you step yourself into the real world, when you go to work, you are going to present yourself in the same way how your lecturers view you and give you grades. And that's how you become a scholarship student, that's how you become an A+ student, and that's how you become a top leader when you go to the real world. Because you have a very bright future ahead if you take this advice of mine and you go about. Because whatever I'm saying, right, this is out of the context. It's out of the context of whatever you hear on YouTube. A lot of people might sugarcoat it, they might say many good things, like they don't actually tell the truth a lot, or they do not show you what the real world is about. But I have gone through these experiences. I have seen people, how they are, how they behave, how they are. No matter whether you're young or you're old, it doesn't matter. Age doesn't count, yeah? If you want to become a leader in the real world, age doesn't count. You as a person counts. Your personality counts. The way you are, you present yourself, it's how it counts. If you fix yourself now, your life guaranteed, okay, will be so much better than you wish. Many people do not realize this, but I have given many of my classmates the same advice over and over again, though I have not told them that I'm a scholarship student. But I'm giving them advice out of experience, but nobody unfortunately takes it because they feel like they know the world. They know what's going on, but they don't know my secret. They don't know who I am. That's where they lack. So, what I'm trying to conclude here is fix your personality. Present yourself well. Build your character. You will have a bright future ahead. That's when you become a top student, top leader in the future. Okay? Alright, so this is the end of the video. This is Aruni signing off. Peace.